Good morning. Thank you for joining us on the Home and Mortgage Show. My name is Michael Gianetto, licensed loan originator with Residential Home Funding.
And I'm Janine Panarelli, licensed real estate broker and owner of Panarelli Realty in Goshen. Good morning. You're listening to the Home and Mortgage Show.
Yeah, it's really nice out today.
It is. It's very nice, but they just said it's going to be 40 on Wednesday.
I know. My daughter told me there was a snowstorm coming.
No. Although they did say it was going to be like 28 degrees.
Which is absurd.
Did you see it?
Absolutely absurd.
I have the Weather Channel app on my phone.
That's absurd.
And it said
Don't even
Wednesday
show
night.
me.
Wednesday night it's going to be 28
I'm going to
degrees.
throw up in my mouth. Don't show me.
Oh, Michael. What is wrong with you?
How was your weekend?
27.
That's crazy.
28, 27, and 29. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night.
Craziness.
I couldn't do any, I was afraid to do any gardening because what if it, freezes, frost, whatever. It's crazy.
I started doing some stuff around the house yesterday, cleaning
snow?
up and.
It doesn't say anything. It just says that it's going down to Wednesday. I think they were talking about Wednesday, a possibility of some flurries because it's going down to 27 that night. And coming from Tuesday into now Tuesday is going to be 65 and thunderstorms.
Yeah, this weather is so crazy.
I
don't think anybody can
It was
predict
so hot
I told you,
yesterday in the
I want to
house.
be a weather person when I grow up, right? I want to say
You're
it's
never
going to
gonna
be
grow up.
it's going to be between
never gonna
0 and
grow up.
100
You're
degrees.
never gonna grow up.
50% chance of precipitation,
So, listen.
and there's some sun and clouds possibly. Right?
So,
I'd be right every day.
It was hot in the house yesterday. There's no way I'm putting the central
Oh my
air on.
God, no.
There's no way. It was like 83.
I just got my heat off. Are you kidding?
Yeah. I'm not putting the central air on. There's no
And we're
way.
going to have to put the heat back on.
I refuse.
Yeah, it'll be pretty cold at your house.
I refuse. Come on, darn it, it's April.
Oh, it's unbelievably ridiculous.
Yeah, so what else? What did we do this weekend? Did I
I don't know.
see you?
What'd you
I don't
do?
even think I spoke to you this weekend.
No, I know. That's
oh
a
my
first,
God,
right?
no, I think.
Well, you were out cruising around in your hot rods. I
in
saw it.
between painting. We were painting.
Oh,
so
painting.
we finally broke down. We decided we needed a new bed.
Wait, so you just went from painting to
so
bed
listen,
to...
yeah, so listen,
did
so
that make
we
sense?
had
there was
to-
no segue there.
Yeah, well, I'm going to tell you what happened. So we decided to get a new bed. I'm getting a king size bed.
Yes.
Yeah, we need the king. Hubby's going to have, we're going to build a wall. He's going to have his side. I'm going to have my side. So we had, I know it was beautiful yesterday, but we had to paint because I can't get a new piece of furniture without redoing the
Without
whole room.
redoing the room.
Yeah,
Oh, my goodness.
So we're redoing the whole room. I'm painting, and then it was like 2, 3 o'clock, and we're like, all right, let's take a break. And it was really nice out, so out come the cars.
Oh, that's when you did that.
When
Oh,
we
I got
took
it,
our
I got
painting
it.
break, we went out and we had a little bit of fun.
I saw.
Yes.
I saw you were kicking your Michael's butt.
I think he lets me sometimes.
Of course he does. Come on.
But I'll tell you, that's something we always do. We always race the
No,
cars
that's
around
nice.
and have a good time. Yeah, yeah. So that was fun.
I know.
And-
My car. I want the Smoking the Bandit car. That's my.
Yes.
That's my.
Yeah, yeah. I don't have the bird on the
That's my hot rod.
hood of mine. It's birdless. But
Birdless.
but that's okay. Yeah, I don't have the bird on.
There was,
I
I
have a
read
Firebird.
something recently
Yeah.
that means something. That bird. It says it's actually an eagle, right? Or something. There's a meaning to the actual decal.
Go ahead, Al.
I believe it's a phoenix, the bird that comes, it burns itself and then comes back to life out of the ashes.
I heard of
Oh,
that.
yeah?
Yes, you're right. You're absolutely right.
What's it
I just
called?
temporarily forgot that because it's Monday.
Is that just called a firebird?
Yes, exactly.
I want to see that happen.
I can't.
We'll go to the pet store and get a cockatiel and...
I have one. Oh, don't give me
You
any
do?
ideas. Yes.
Oh, my
I have a
God.
cockatiel.
I never knew that.
But
Does it talk?
Don't you too?
No.
You don't have a bird?
No.
I
I'd
do
let
have
it go
a cockatiel.
outside.
His name's Charlie. So from all the years of coming in and saying, hi, Charlie, now I come into the house and he tells me, hi, Charlie.
Yeah.
Yeah. He
Did
calls
you
me
know?
Charlie.
I know you're not going to believe this, but the Hudson Valley Nature Museum. Have you ever been there?
No,
Over
where is
in,
that?
Highland, I think it is.
Okay.
Over by Cornwall. Mm-hmm. They have a crow there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that was injured, and they brought it back the inn and took care of it. The crow can speak. I see the look on your face. I am not kidding you. The crow can say hello and says a couple of other little phrases. I am telling you.
When were you there? When
Last
were you
year.
there?
Last
You were
year.
there last year
Yes.
talking to a crow.
Last year with the kids, and the crow was speaking. I'm gonna call there.
What did you take before
we
you
call
went
there?
to
Can you
this?
call-
Well, a crow that talks, I think they're called magpies, aren't they? Like the old.
No, this was a real like crow you would see in a tree. It was injured. They brought it in. We had a whole conversation with them.
Yeah, some of them can be taught to speak a few words. Yes.
See, I'm not so crazy, am I?
Oh no, not at all. Not at all. Okay, talking.
That's what I want.
talking
I want
crows.
I want a pet crow.
No, that's talking heads.
That's called a David Byrne.
Oh
That's funny.
God, yeah.
The counting crows. Is that what
the
you were
counting
thinking
crows,
of? Yeah.
talking heads?
Yeah. The talking crow.
Throw in the black-eyed peas, and you got yourself.
Yeah, exactly. That's great.
Oh, it's Monday.
So let's. I
wanna be
want
out
to. I
cruising.
really want to talk about these
We
glasses
got a
here.
lot to work.
I really want to talk about these
I'm
glasses.
still nauseous. So
They're
I've
very
reached that
stylish.
age. They are pretty cool, aren't they?
yeah. I
If I
like the
told you how
violet
much they
color
cost,
there.
you
It's a-
would
yeah.
freak out. I don't want to say it because my husband might be listening. But no, no, they're progressives. I've been wearing glasses since I'm 10 years old, and I always needed them to see distance. But now I've reached that
Age.
shut up, where I'm having difficulty where it's glasses on, glasses off. Then
Yes.
I never needed them to read, but now I go to look down and I'm like, what? And I'm like going like this with the paper, trying to adjust. So now I need glasses to see distance and to read. So that's kind of difficult. So
really
they
sucks getting
talked
old.
me into getting progressives. And they said, oh, it's going to take a couple of weeks to adjust. Well, I'm walking into walls.
Oh, my
I'm ready
God.
to
I
hurl.
know. I put those things on. Those are not
Oh,
fun.
my
It's like that's like a
gosh.
carnival ride.
But worse. At least that you can, scream.
You have your built-in-
you
the
can
built-in
scream
mirrors.
and
You know the
enjoy
mirrors
that.
you go in front of?
I can't scream and enjoy this while I'm walking around wearing my glasses. But
You know the mirrors you walk in front of? One makes you tall, the other one makes you short, the other that's what those glasses are like.
you have to train your eye to look through a certain part of the lens. So if you want to see distance, I have to, like the woman says, you use point your eyes in the same direction your nose is pointing. So like if I want to look straight ahead and my nose is straight ahead, that's the direction my eyes have to go. I can't have my nose pointing straight ahead and turn my eyes to look at you on the side. I'll want to hurl. So I have to figure this whole thing out.
Yeah, good
because
luck.
I'm tired with it on off,
Yeah.
and it's
Once you get the surgery. Can you do that for both near and far?
I don't know. I didn't ask. That's a little extreme.
I got it done. I got it in 2001. I got the LASIK.
Did you really?
Yeah. Yeah. And now I,
think
need a
I knew
tune-up.
that. I think it.
That's what they call it. It's a
You need a
tune-up.
tune-up?
Yeah. Because they deteriorated a little bit.
Okay. Your eyes deteriorate?
The vision deteriorated from the
Okay.
2020 a little bit.
No.
Although
I'm working on
the
it.
appointment that I went to recently, like a month ago, they said, you have 20/20 vision. I said, that's funny because I have glasses. Yeah. I
Nah.
wish I could,
So this is tough.
wish I could mention where I went and
So this-
tell people not to go there. But I won't.
Oh, no. Don't do
No,
that.
I won't do that.
Oh, my gosh. So, yeah, it's going to take some getting used to. I'm working on it.
Yeah.
So if you see me, like, walking like I'm drunk, I'm trying to get used to my
You
new
had a good lunch.
progressives. Yeah, it's pretty tough, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
So I wanted to mention our fundraiser again.
yes.
Well, not ours, but what we're participating
we're running
in.
out of time.
Right?
What is today?
April
the 14th?
25th. Yes,
Yeah, we
it's
have
close.
11
days.
11 days.
Yes. So April 25th, the Boys and Girls Club of Orange and Sullivan, and the celebrity server dinner, right?
Yes.
And we are the Adams family, Team Adams family. We would really, if you want to attend, right? Anybody that's out there that would like to attend, you can. You can go to our Facebook page.
It's going to
The
be a
Home and
night to
Mortgage Show.
remember. From
Oh, it
previous
is.
servers who did this in years past.
Yes.
They say it's definitely going to be a night to remember.
Absolutely.
So I'm.
Looking forward to it. But we went to, I would tell the listeners, we went to get our costumes and went to this place, what was the name?
Marlowe's.
Marlowe's Costumes in
Port
Port
Jervis.
Jervis. the outskirts of Port Jervis, right?
Yeah, that was insane.
And that is the craziest place I've ever seen. It's about 5,000 square feet of costumes, right?
It was a little creepy.
It was-
Every way you turned, it was like these big heads and things staring
Yeah,
at you.
it's not somewhere I would want to be locked in at night and
Yeah.
have to try to sleep.
But yeah, that was crazy. So they're working on our costumes. We're going to pick them up next Tuesday.
Yes. Yeah.
And
it's going to be a great event.
Yeah, we posted Mike and his Uncle Fester. You know, they're prepping him for Uncle Fester.
Yeah, it's
so
gonna be great.
it's going to be great. Yeah, so we're going to talk about that because we're trying to raise funds. It's a really great
Absolutely.
cause.
And
It's these
if you
kids
can
are our
attend,
future.
If you
know?
can attend, we would love a donation. No amount is too small.
Not at all. Not
Right.
at all. You know, if we got 100 people to donate, a couple of bucks, it all adds
be
up.
great.
It all adds up.
Absolutely.
And I mean, come on, it's for a really good cause.
Absolutely. And
These
it's on our
kids have been
Facebook
doing
page,
so
The
much.
Home and Mortgage Show.
Yes, and on our website,
Yes.
thehomeandmortgageshow.com. It's on there too. So check us out. But we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back.
Master Pest Control is proud to be a sponsor of the Home and Mortgage Show. When the time comes to buy a house, you will be faced with a lot of important choices. Having a home inspection is a critical part of the process, so choose wisely. Masters Pest Control has over 30 years of residential pest control experience, and they work closely with Ultra Home Inspections. That means you get 2 inspectors for the price of 1. Better value, exceptional service. Consider Masters Pest Control. Call toll-free 877-656-2024. That's 877-656-2024.
This is attorney Bob Krahulik of the law firm Beatty & Krahulik, the lawyer guy on WTBQ Radio. Tune in every Thursday at 11:30 a.m. for the latest in legal advice and tips. We're taking calls and giving answers to all your legal questions and issues on WTBQ.
I'm Sarah Kearns. Join me for Travels with Sarah on WTBQ 93.5 FM discussing worldwide travel. WTBQ 93.5 FM every Thursday at 11 a.m.
And we're back. You're listening to the Home and Mortgage Show, WTBQ. 651-1110 is the number to call in. And you're going to want to call in because we have a guest
Yes, we do.
in the
Mr. Kevin Crane
in the
the
office.
studio, in the office.
We have a guest in the office today.
Mr. Kevin Crane of New York Property Tax Review. Thank you for coming and joining us.
Thank you for having me on. Good morning.
He's out of Harriman. Kevin, why don't you tell our listeners about what you do?
Okay, well, in New York State, our municipal taxes, our school taxes, our town taxes, and our county taxes are all based on property taxes, meaning they're based on the value of your home or any other property you own. My company, New York Property Tax Review, helps homeowners and other property owners to lower their property tax assessment, which is what your property taxes are based on. And we will take you through the whole process. We will grieve your taxes. The first step is we negotiate with the town. The second step, if we're not successful there, is we will actually take the town to court on your behalf.
Get down and dirty.
Yeah.
How often do you have to do that? You've done that?
Well, prior to starting up the business, I was actually on the grievance board, so I was one of the people that used to make the
knows.
decision.
He knows.
So did
So
you
you're
go to
dude
the dark
have.
side?
Wait, so you're the dude to have,
Yeah.
though. I mean, not for nothing.
Absolutely.
It's like those IRS commercials. We inside knowledge of the IRS. Call us. we have a caller already, so I knew this one was going to be one.
My question is, what if somebody's going to purchase a home? Can you grieve taxes before you buy the house or in the process of?
You can actually grieve your taxes if you are in the process of doing it. You have to have a signed contract on the property, though. And keep in mind that even if the sale falls through on the house, you're still in this for the long run. So you submitted everything already.
And so my follow-up question is, how do you determine how low you can go on grieving the taxes? How is that estimated?
Okay. Well, That's a good question. There's a lot of things that go into it. You know, what we will do is we will do a comparative analysis of your property versus comparable homes or businesses in the neighborhood that you're in. And through recent sales, we'll come up with an estimated value of the property and try and negotiate it down to that point.
Has there been a good success rate with that?
Well, you know what it is? In most of the counties, most of the towns out here, there hasn't been a full assessment of all these towns since the 50s for most of them. So what happens when you have that is the numbers get all out of whack. I was just looking at, honestly, for one of my business customers, I'm not going to mention who they are, but they own a business here in Warwick, and there's a comparable building that's right next door, and the building sold for over $1 million, but is only assessed at $300,000. So, but the person that I'm representing,
Interesting.
the person I'm representing is assessed well over that $300,000, 2.5 times that, and their property isn't worth as much as that. So, yeah,
Is that going to hurt the other one though? Can they step in and say the $1 million one just closed for $1 million, assessed for 300? Oh, we got to raise his assessment.
Well, the other one was actually a bigger property, so it should go for more than that property. But you know, they're still overassessed. My customers
I want
still
to just, I'm just going to ask you one more thing, and then I'm going to hang up and you can answer it. How long does that process normally take if you're purchasing a house and grieving taxes with a signed contract? I mean, how long do you estimate approximately it would take?
Okay, that's a good question. Thanks for calling in. There's a couple things that go into that. The first step, the assessor has until July 1st to post their final tax
rolls.
Thank you. Sorry, I got tongue-tied there.
I'm all over that. I'm always checking that.
So they have until July 1st to do that for most of the municipalities out here. So that's when we would get the first indication. Now, if we aren't successful when we're dealing with the town directly and we have to go to court, that can take longer. It's supposed to be within a couple months of that, but depending on the county that you're in, if you're here in Orange County, it's a little bit quicker. But if you're in, let's say, Westchester or something like that, it could take months.
We have another caller. Hang on, Kevin. We have another one for you. Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Hi. Good morning.
I had a question for you. Let's say, for example, how much over on average are the estimates? Are the taxes that are being charged for homes now? For example, let's say you call up and let's say that it's in the state side, on the government side, the town side right now. Your house is under evaluated or whatever. If somebody's going to initiate this process, don't they have to make sure that they're not getting themselves into some trouble there too?
I understand what you're saying. So what you're saying is if you submitted a grievance and then the town decides, no, your property is actually undervalued, what you're saying, what you want to know is, can the town go and raise your value? Is that what you're asking?
Sure.
The town cannot do that. It's actually against the law. In order for them to do that, they have to reassess an entire area. They cannot simply reassess one house.
That's good to know. That's good to know.
Woohoo!
I will tell you this, and we talked about this a couple of months ago, that I went through the grievance
Yeah, but wait a
process.
minute. Hang on. But if you raise a red flag, they cannot just reassess yours. They're going to do an entire neighborhood. You can tick off a lot of neighbors if all of a
remember?
sudden.
Yes,
wait
remember?
a minute. It's coming to me now.
Look what you started.
Yeah,
with.
Right,
exactly.
exactly.
Yeah, come Halloween, man. They're going to be toilet paper and egg in your house.
Well,
I wouldn't want to be the guy to do that.
Well, that's it. My question is, on average,
Right.
if you look at things today, where do they stand? Are properties way overtaxed? When was the last time they were assessed? And where does that fit into what you're doing here?
Okay. The answer is usually it's about a third, and a third, meaning about a third of the properties are on target, a third of them are undervalued, and a third of them are overvalued.
Interesting.
Yeah,
That's
that's
interesting.
interesting.
That
And
is
that's
interesting.
based on what? Is that just based on lack of, government checking things or the old numbers? What does that have?
It's based, like again I said, is that most of the towns have not done a full reassessment of their properties in decades.
Right.
So when you do that, different properties
I know years back-
value at different.
Correct me if I'm
speeds.
wrong. I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut you off.
Yeah.
But one town came in mind, Newburgh. The city of Newburgh, I believe it was, for years.
didn't they have
This
a
was a few
massive- they had
years
a
back.
massive
Remember,
increase,
a
right?
few years back, the city of Newburgh had this massive overhaul with their taxes, and everybody's taxes more than doubled. Am I correct with that? And everybody freaked out because
Yeah.
it wasn't a gradual thing. So what happened with that?
I don't know
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
specifics of
But,
Newburgh.
no, but I'm just saying you can see how each municipality will. Oh, okay, this is going to be our year. We're going to do a full reassessment of everybody.
They probably won't want to. I mean, if for example, in Warwick, where I live, if they did it based on 2007 or 2008, which is the peak of the housing market,
Right.
Is that a way for you guys to determine, roughly where it is? Because I'm sure they're happy to have it, sit at that level for a long time.
Right, of course. They don't want to reassess it now when
Right.
everything is down.
Right.
I'm not exactly sure when Warwick did it, but I think it was well before 2007, their last assessment.
Yeah,
Some
I
towns
figured.
have done partial assessments. I know
Yeah.
Monroe, I think about 2 years ago, reassessed all their condos. They just did the condos, but and I remember that caused a big upstir. But
Yeah.
yeah.
I've said this on previous shows that I think that the way that they should do the property taxes is based on the size of a property, right? The square footage of a property, and then give the exemptions for the star exemption and the enhanced star, right? The veteran exemptions. Take the exemptions, calculate them in, right? And then divide everything out. Right, divide everything
Yeah,
out.
but each town is different. But each municipality is different. You can't compare Warwick to the city of Middletown.
No, but at least you have a basis. Even if a municipality has to do it differently, but there's a basis. Again, a couple of months ago, last year, I did mine, right? I grieved my assessment and went in, and the assessor is it's all subjective. It's whatever they think. Here you go. Oh, you know what? This house sold next to you. No, your house is worth that. I had to battle my assessment. And she was trying to come up with these different things, and she was very good to deal with, I have to say. But she was trying to come up with different assessments of the properties that were in my area, and I went there very prepared, being in the business, and said, no, here's what we should be comping it to. Gave her a full list, and she said, you know what, you're right, okay, and she lowered it for me right on the spot, which was fantastic.
So, all right, but my question is this. So you lower the assessment. Now, in order to calculate the taxes, your assessment is multiplied by equalization rates and different rates to get your taxes. So what happened was when the property values came down, correct me if I'm wrong, and people started grieving, they lowered their assessments, but the tax rates went up. Am I wrong
Equalization
with that?
rates went up.
The equalization rates went up.
That was
So
helping.
Yeah. No, but no, I'm saying you would think if you lowered the assessed values, property taxes would come down, but that didn't happen.
Well, see, this is
I
the
got
thing
a
that.
question for you, though.
Go ahead.
I know who you are. We know who you are.
I know who you are, too. So I know where you are. I know where I am. Here's my final question. How do you guys work? Do you work on a commission in terms of this? You don't get anything until you get something for the client? What's the way your firm runs?
That's for you, Kevin.
Yes, we are. What happens is we get a percentage of what we save you. If we do not lower your assessment, there is no fee from us. We won't charge you any upfront fees or anything like that. If we save you money, our fee is 55% of whatever we save you for the first year. Every year after that, the savings are entirely yours. I understand that 55% sounds like it's a big number, and it is, but we spend months working on each case, and you know what? 45% of 45% of something, which is what you would keep, is better than 100% of nothing, which is usually what happens a lot of times if somebody just tries to talk.
I think it's pretty reasonable if you have hours and hours into it. I think that's pretty reasonable.
Well, let me ask you
And
this.
people aren't going to be saving
the
$5,000 a year.
Well, that's my question. What is the average savings? What is your average savings?
It really depends. I mean, honestly, it can vary so much from each individual property and each individual town. I could save one homeowner $100. I have another customer that that we're working with right now that we're probably going to save about $3,000 or $4,000 a year on.
Wow, that's rare though, right?
Those are big ones. The usual is probably somewhere in the ballpark of $1,000 to $750.
But so if you can save
helps.
$1,000 to $750, every year,
Right.
it adds up. We're gonna come back to that. We're gonna pick Kevin's
thanks,
brain.
guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Have a good day. We're gonna take a quick break, and then we're gonna come right back with Kevin Crane.
Quality and professionalism are two words that describe Ultra Home Inspections. Fully licensed, certified, and insured, their training and skill will provide you with all the information you'll need to make an educated decision on your home purchase or sale. Ultra Inspection serves Orange and Sullivan counties in New York and Pike and Wayne County in Pennsylvania. Call 845-545-0960 or check out all their services by visiting their website at www.ultrahomeinspections.com. Happy New Year! Now celebrate by gifting yourself and your family with a new kitchen and let the professionals at Hudson Valley Kitchen Design take your dreams and make them into a reality, from concept to installation and everything in between. Our well-trained, courteous staff will customize your new kitchen while keeping it within your budget. Start living the dream by calling 845-294-8242, and we'll have you cooking on your new stove in no time. For all the do-it-yourselfers, builders, and contractors, we invite you to our retail showroom located at 2713 Route 17M in Goshen. And please like us on Facebook at the Hudson Valley Kitchen Design. Call 845-294-9068. We will make your dreams a reality in 2014.
Hey, this is Joe Dans. Connect the dots in these challenging times with my creativity and technology for business and life show every Wednesday at 11 a.m. on WTBQ, AM 1110 and FM 93.5. Radio worth listening to.
Hi, this is Ray Bryant, Superintendent of the Warwick Valley Central School District. Your superintendent presenting your schools on WTBQ, Mondays at 12:05. Please join us with your questions, your comments, and your concerns.
WTBQ weather.
There is some areas of fog and clouds around this morning. Otherwise, it'll become partly to mostly sunny, breezy, and warm again this afternoon as we head to 75 again. Scattered showers will arrive probably around 10 o'clock, and there'll be patchy fog around tonight. The low heads down in the mid-50s. Tomorrow, showers around during the morning, then there could be a few heavy downpours in the afternoon, maybe even a rumble of thunder. It'll be windy with a high near 60. Showers end tomorrow night, then windy and colder with a period of snow or snow showers will drop into the upper 20s. And sunny, windy, and cold on Wednesday, highs only in the 40s. This is meteorologist Tony Salimo from the WTBQ Weather Center.
WTBQ.
And we're back. You're listening to the Home and Mortgage Show on WTBQ 651-1110. We had some good callers asking some good questions. We're in the studio here with Kevin Kern from Crane.
And you don't even have the glasses on. Oh my goodness.
I know a Kevin Kern. That's why.
Sure.
New York Property Tax Review. Are you going to let me? Are you going to just leave me alone now? I apologize, Kevin Crane. New York Property Tax Review. Hey, I'm putting it out there. If people want to reach you, Kevin, how can they reach you?
Okay, so we have our own website. That's nypropertytaxreview.com.
Mm-hmm.
They can also give us a call at 238-3258. And you can also reach out to me by email at kevin@newyorkpropertytaxreview.com.
No, that's good to know.
Excellent, yeah.
I'm sure you'll be getting some inquiries there. So you charge 55%. Is that like, I'm sure there are other companies out there. Is that like the average of what people charge, or is that customary?
We're actually a little bit cheaper. A lot of the other companies out here, particularly, charge upwards of 60%. Some charge more.
Wow.
But yeah, so we're a little bit on the cheaper end.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's good to know. And I think you should clarify that it is just the savings for the first year
that you get paid on.
That you get
That's
paid
correct.
on, and then going forward, there is no additional fee.
It's
and
100%
no
the
residual fee.
homeowners.
Right. Well, let me ask you this. What happens if, like you mentioned earlier, it takes a couple of months, but what happens if you aren't successful and you have to go to court? Does that cost the homeowner more? We didn't ask that.
If there's court, there's one fee that the court requires, which is a $30 small claims assessment review fee. That's the court's fee. It's not my fee.
All right. So that gets passed down to
So
the homeowner?
the homeowner, that would be the one fee that the homeowner would have to pay. But again, that's not my fee. It's the court's fee.
But for 30
Right,
bucks,
and for
I mean, how can you
$30,
go wrong?
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, that's not so bad.
There is no downside to somebody doing this. I think it would be a waste of time, somebody that's being unrealistic. There are a lot of people that think that their property should be, assessed less because they just have high taxes, right? I'm sure that happens all the time.
Well,
Yeah.
I had called I live in the town of Warwick, and a few years back, I called the Warwick tax assessor, and I'm like, I just got my tax bill. I'm like, seriously? I said, this is getting out of control. I said, and his answer to me was, well, at the time it was his, said to me, well, what are you trying to say? If you had to sell your house today, you couldn't get this fair market value that I'm basing it on? That was the question. I says, regardless of whether or not I can get the fair market value, it's not worth, $13,000 in taxes. I'm not
that's
in
an
a
overall
$500,000.
issue and problem that we're
I'm not
having.
in a $600,000 house. You know what I'm saying? My house isn't worth that much, so I don't understand why I'm paying that much in tax.
Yeah, New York is actually one of the highest taxed states in the country. Actually, we're home of number one for property taxes. If you live in Westchester County, congratulations. You are the
There you
number
go.
one property tax
That's
county
fantastic.
in the country.
That's a real problem. I mean, there's a lot of people. We've talked about this before.
Oh,
The
yeah.
seniors that can't afford it any longer, and they're forced to move out or
They're
do
leaving.
something. Yeah, they're all leaving, and that opened up our reverse mortgage conversation that day.
Well, yeah, but the whole thing is people save their whole life for their retirement. They save that money for their retirement fund, and they're saving for this fund and that fund. When you get to that retirement, you want to spend that on other things other than
Right,
property taxes every
right.
year. You want to be traveling and go, seeing
I
the
agree.
world.
The
I don't know.
enjoy
I
the
just-
golden years instead of paying taxes your golden years.
Leave your kids a little bit of money to be spending, and because I'm, despite what you say every week about me being old, I'm quite the young hippie chick here. So by the time I get to be retirement age,
Did you apply for the Social
I'm
Security yet?
Social Security. He's
You're
just-
asking for it.
He's brutal. He's brutal. That's okay. I'll get him back.
I'm just
Celebrity Server
joshing.
Dinner again is April 25th. I will get you back,
That's right.
Mr. Uncle Fester
All right.
there. Yeah. So you don't want to have to spend all that 10 years. You go blow through $150,000 in
Yeah.
10 years in property taxes.
Which is
So it's-
absurd to spend
It
your assets
is.
on something like that.
It is. How long does it take, especially in this economy and these past years, how long does it take to save $150,000?
Right. Right. For most people.
Forget about it. And then gone like that. So when can I retire to know, all right, I got to time this, because if I do decide to stay in this area and we're going to take $150,000 and just spend it on taxes, so what is that going to get me to? And people are living longer now. So if I retire, I don't want to retire at 65. I want to retire earlier. Me and my husband have this discussion all the time. So what does that mean by 60? If I retire at 55, 60, by the time I'm 70, I got to get a job again
Right.
because I spent all my retirement money on my taxes.
There
I
you
mean,
go.
come on.
Yeah,
Something's
it's
gotta
absurd.
give
I
here.
agree. I totally agree. And I know that the governor is supposed to be working on this problem, and they all say that they're working on the problem, but
but
it's a real
you know
big
what?
issue.
A couple of hundred here and a couple of hundred there, or 1,000 here or 1,000. It's not going to be
Significant enough that-
It's
right.
not. It's not.
I
And you know
agree.
what? Property taxes only go up. So you save me a few $100s this year, or you lower me $800 this year. Next year and the next 3 years, we're back up to where we started from. Started at. So I'm at a loss with this.
I know.
What do you think?
New York is crazy with property taxes. I mean, I have some statistics here actually.
Share those
Let-
statistics
let me-
with
let
us.
me
Let
just-
Enlighten us.
Yeah, exactly. Let us humor us. Actually,
The average property tax, I'm sorry, not the average, the median property tax in the United States is $1,917.
Oh my God, that's the median.
That's the median.
Oh my God,
yeah.
so there's people paying like $100 to.
Well,
to
yeah. I told you, Tennessee, man, Tennessee.
New York's median, which is
Oh God.
much more than that, but it's
Get the
still
puke
not as high as
bucket.
you're thinking. It's $3,755.
That's
You have to
Yeah,
keep
well,
in mind
that's
that,
anything
There we go.
north of
That's the
Orange
whole-
County is,
That's
it's
up
not
in
just this is New
Watertown
York in
or
general. So
right,
that's
but north of
including-
Orange County.
Exactly. So you're
anything
talking about the
downstate.
Adirondacks. You're
Right.
talking about So it's a lot of
Bringing the
areas.
average way down.
Okay, I gotcha.
Westchester is $9,044. Nassau is $8,900. Rockland's $85. Orange County's $5,600. Now, keep in mind, this includes all of Orange County. I know if you're in certain parts of Orange County, you'd be lucky if you had double that number.
Listen, if my
Wait,
taxes were
what is that?
$5,900,
How much
I'd be
is that?
extremely happy.
5,600.
Mine are more than
56
double that.
Yeah,
Dude,
me
they're
too.
more
Well,
than
that's what I
double
said.
that.
I know
That's
if you're in
ridiculous.
certain
Mine are
areas of
almost 3
Orange County,
times.
you'd be happy if you were double.
Yeah, that's a problem. That's a problem. Get the puke bucket.
We're having issues.
But it's ridiculous. And honestly, I mean, New York State is home to the highest taxed areas around.
All right. So what? All right. So we're gonna
I'm
solve.
speechless
We're
right now.
gonna solve this tax problem right now. What can we do? Let's brainstorm right here on air. What are we gonna do?
I'm telling you, make it a flat per square foot.
The problem is, and some of the
You
people
do this
don't
all the time.
understand with the taxes. And I don't want to put this on the assessors because this one part is not the assessor's fault. Okay. This is up to the towns. The towns come up with the budget. The assessor's job is to come up with a value for the house. And then, based on that value of the house, they get the homeowner gets assigned a tax levy. That's not the assessor's fault. So I don't want anybody
all right, so
thinking
let me
that,
ask you a question. Just kind of thinking about it now. So if my house is fairly new, it's 8 years old, right? My taxes are based on whatever my current assessment is. If there's a house that is 20 years old,
Right.
and sells for what I think my house is for, or is actually that wouldn't make sense. It
No,
would be,
they're
it would be less feasibly because it's older,
Right.
Right.
well, could be all, upgraded, updated, and all that. Because someone told me it doesn't matter the age of the house. If the house is totally renovated and brought to today's current modern, right?
There's
a lot of things that go into it.
There's a lot that
Honestly,
that happens.
I mean, if
some
if the
people
house has
do
been
buy.
fully renovated, the assessor's going to look at that as that. Basically.
Some people buy older historic homes and they renovate them and they're beautiful. To they upgrade the electric, they update everything, and then it's like a new house. So it depends.
That's okay, right? But if a house that's older that is selling for the same price as mine would,
Okay.
right? Why are my taxes higher because my house is newer?
Yeah, can we talk about that? Yeah, so newer construction gets taxed higher.
Well, again, it goes back to that whole problem where you have underassessed properties and overassessed properties. It just goes back to that whole fact that we haven't done assessments in this area in such a long time, and that's the problem.
I guess
with
that brings in the whole grievance process.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Because and that's where it works. You're paying more than your fair share. That's what happens. And the person who's undervalued is getting off scot-free. They pay less.
So I need to look for an older home in my area that's valued similarly to mine, and bring that in and say, okay, this is a 30-year-old home or whatever it is, and this is what their value is, and it's saying that this is my value, is the same value, and why am I paying this much and why are they only paying $8?
there's a lot of things that go into the assessment of the house, and I don't want to make it sound like it's a really simple thing. It's
No, but that's why it's so subjective to the assessor.
It can be.
I'll give you the example. So when I did mine, right, a year and a half ago, I did mine, and the assessor said, my belief, this is what she said, my belief is that anything affixed to the property is taxable.
Okay.
But that should be something that is set by the state that says, here's the rules, and here's what you're going to be taxed on. So that is way too subjective.
We're talking like decks and
That's a good
sheds.
point, 'cause
Tell people what is taxable on the outside of the house.
Each assessor will have their own guidelines. They'll be like, oh, well, yeah, that adds value to the house. This adds value to the house.
Why is that?
Wait, guidelines or opinion?
They have their own opinions.
Why? No, see, there should be a set,
Right, absolutely.
a set checklist.
And that's
That's
why...
it. That's what we got to do. We got to make an assessor checklist. Does this
Can
house
any
have
assessor
this,
that's
this, this,
listening
and this?
right now call in?
There's no way they're going to call.
651-1110.
We need
you don't
to
even
make
have to tell us where you're
an
calling
assessor
from.
checklist, right? That's what we need. Can we do like a state assessor checklist?
There is a handbook that the assessors have, and they do have training that they go to.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean they're using it.
I understand that, and everybody has their own. Each of these assessors have their own opinions and whatnot. That's, and like I said, that's where we can come in. A lot of people
Listen,
are not.
we know this is why you went to the dark side, because you saw what was going on and you decided to go
I'm waiting
and
for the
fight
theme
for it,
song to come on.
Yeah. Do you have Star Wars?
Dark side. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come right back.
O'Keefe & McCann, one of the premier real estate law firms in Orange County, is happy to provide assistance to you whether you are buying, selling, refinancing, or you just need clear answers to your real estate questions. Now celebrating over 13 years in the Hudson Valley, William O'Keefe and Michael McCann will clarify the entire process of buying or selling your home. If your world feels like it's been turned upside down, call us. We can help. You will always receive prompt and definitive answers to all of your legal questions by telephone, text, or email. Remember, whether you're buying or selling a home or just need help in keeping the one you already own and you're just not sure where to turn to, call O'Keefe & McCann first at 845-615-8500. With 3 convenient locations in Goshen, New Windsor, and Port Jervis, they are always at your service. O'Keefe & McCann, the #1 law firm for all of your legal needs. They always have your best interest at heart. Call 845-615-8500 to set up a consultation or visit their website at o'keefe-mccann.com.
Hey everybody, this is Rachel Ray. Join me today and every weekday with Rach on the radio. I'll have tips to save you money, celebrity chit-chat, and of course, food. All from the kitchen table of our Emmy Award-winning show, Rachel Ray.
Weekdays at 12:30.
Hi, I'm Pat O'Dwyer. Join me on the Friday Roundtable for a provocative look at politics and the people in our Hudson Valley community on the Friday Roundtable at 9 a.m. on WTBQ.
WTBQ.
Hi, welcome back. Thank you for joining us on the Home and Mortgage Show. Call in 651-1110.
I actually think we have a caller on the line. Hello?
We're sorry. Your call cannot be completed as dialed. Please check the number.
That is great.
That's nice. We want to grieve our taxes.
Call back.
We're sorry.
You are number 150 in line.
So let's give listeners an idea. All right, we're talking about the age of house, but what other things, like especially outside, above ground pool, in ground pool, what is considered taxable?
Well, I mean, anything that adds value to the house really can be taxable. Mm-hmm. If you have a tool shed, that's probably not going to be viewed as anything that's going to really add value to the house. Mm-hmm. If you...
But again, going back, if it's on a cement slab and it's affixed to the property, now it's something that an assessor can view as value.
Yeah,
right?
I mean...
It's got that concrete. That's more permanent. They look at more what's permanent. Am I correct?
True. So, I mean, it really kind of depends on the actual structure or something like that. But you were asking about a pool earlier. A pool can add, if it's a permanent structure, like an in-ground pool, that would really add value to the house. An above-ground pool doesn't really add any value to the
So
house.
they're not taxing me on my above ground pool.
They shouldn't.
What about the deck to the pool? And that's
Affixed to
interesting
the
because
property.
if you're taking
Absolutely.
down the pool, if you take it down the pool, you're taking down the deck. You know,
It's still gonna. They're
it's
still gonna tax
taxing.
you.
They're still taxing you on it.
I mean,
And you know, an in-ground pool, as you know, Janine, you know, somebody
Michael?
sells a house, they don't get much for an in-ground pool.
No,
on the value of the property.
No,
You might
it's
get
a
$8,000 to
shame.
$10,000.
Yeah, it's a
on
shame.
value of the pool.
Sellers think, oh, you know, we're going to ask an extra $40,000
Yeah.
more because I have an in-the-ground pool. It doesn't work that way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It really
No.
doesn't add that much value when you're doing your appraisal.
yeah, in fact, it can be a turnoff to some buyers, as I'm
Right.
sure you know.
Yeah.
Listen, I've had people that filled in pools after they bought a property. You know,
Well,
which I don't
that's
understand.
extreme.
Yeah,
I
I've
know.
had it.
That's
I'm going to say
extreme.
2 or 3 times in my career.
That's
Seriously?
That's
Absolutely.
crazy.
That nah, I wouldn't fill in a pool. I just wouldn't buy the house with the in-the-ground pool. You know, it depends.
I don't know. Personally, I'd
Wow.
love having an in-ground pool, but
You know, well, with this whole weather, we get like 2 months of summer. It's a lot of maintenance and cost for 2 months of
Yes.
swimming. But
I
we
know,
have
my
a,
wife,
we, I
my
think
wife
we have
wants
that.
me to open up the pool in the beginning of May. I said, absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Well, let's see. I think we have that caller back.
Hello, thank you for calling.
Hi, I have a question. A question was raised earlier about the percentage that's used to calculate real estate taxes. So your assessment may be lowered, but the percentage goes up, and then your real estate taxes really don't change that much for that long.
okay. So what happens is they have different. It's a fractional value. The assessor's office will not. Most of the areas around here don't have 100% market value. So it could be 15%. It could be 20%. It could be higher. And what happens is, and that can throw people off too, because they'll see their house and they'll say, "Oh, my house is only assessed at $50,000."
Each municipality is different.
Yeah.
There are some assessed at 100%.
There are some assessed at 100%, and New York State, in truth, does want that to start being the norm, that everybody goes to 100%. But
I would think that makes sense, right?
Yeah,
If everybody goes to
I think
100% assessment, but now that you take that and you multiply it by tax rates, and each
Right, so-
municipality has different tax rates.
Right. So to
that's
explain
where
that to
we're-
the caller, it's an equalization rate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. So if your assessment goes down, but the equalization rate also goes down, then your taxes are going to go up. So what you do is you divide the assessment into the equalization rate to get the full market value that they're basing it on. Right. So if your assessment is $80,000 and the equalization rate is 19%, okay, that would give you a value of $412,000 something, right? If it's $80,000 as an assessment and your equalization rate is 17%, then your value is $470, your full market value. So that's why you have an effect like that the taxes may go up, as the equalization rate is coming down as well as the assessment is coming down.
Okay, because my assessment, several years ago, my assessment went down. My taxes went down for, I think, 1 year, and then the next year they were close to where they were again. So the reduction is not long-lived; it's short-lived. It seems to me.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
well, it
Because they have a budget to meet, I would assume, and you know.
yeah. I mean, if the town raises their taxes, that's not something that can be controlled by anybody. Well, it can be controlled by the town, but if your assessment stays the same but your taxes go up, that can't be controlled by us.
Right.
Yeah. Well, so then what do you do?
Well, you need people sharpening their pencils that work for the municipalities.
Well, then it's up to the citizens to vote. A new.
100%.
That's right.
That's just it. If your local government isn't doing what they need to be doing and things are just getting out of control, you have to vote new people in.
And there has been a movement, the last couple of years to tighten up a bit and do without a bit, I think. You notice some of the municipalities are
well, people are
combining
voicing their
services.
opinions a lot more. People are getting more up in arms, and I think it's the response to that. because if we're complacent, if we're just sitting back, home, everything's just hunky-dory,
Right.
then they're just going to keep going on doing what they're doing. But if the citizens, if the communities start rallying and saying enough is enough, we're not going to stand for this, or we're
Absolutely.
going to leave, all of New York's going to wind up leaving, and then what? They can sit
I
there
do-
behind their desks with their pencils, and I don't care how sharp they are, because now everybody's gone. It's just...
I do think that they need to do a consolidation of services around the county as well. That would help. And I think
Absolutely.
Steve Newhouse has brought that up before.
Yes.
As well, as
That's-
part of his agenda. But
That's like a no-brainer, and why wasn't that thought of before?
unbelievable. We have 18 school districts in Orange County.
That's crazy.
18.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I mean, it is a big county.
It's a big county.
It's
There's
a big county.
350,000 people in Orange County. But,
it's a
but
pretty
there's
big county.
plenty of services that can be consolidated to bring down the tax burden to the taxpayers and municipalities for sure.
Oh,
It's true.
Absolutely. I think so.
Well, thank you.
Thank you
Thank
for
you for
calling.
calling.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
I think, I mean, we haven't solved anything. It's still all...
What do you mean? We didn't just solve it
No,
here?
we didn't solve
Oh,
it.
I thought we
wanted
had
to
the
solve
solution
it.
right here.
I wanted to solve it. I'm going back to my checklist. I think everybody
think
should
that's a
have
great idea.
checklist, and they shouldn't be allowed to. It shouldn't be an opinion. It should. Does it fit the criteria? And that's it.
Can
What do
that
you
be
think?
done? Can that be done?
I don't know, Steve. Can that be done? Are you still listening?
On being from the assessment side, right?
What do you think? Can everybody have the same checklist? And if it falls within the guidelines of that checklist, then that's it. It's not. It shouldn't be an opinion, because what if and people say this? Oh, I don't want the tax assessor coming to my house. People are afraid, or they don't want to grieve their taxes because they're like, well, what if I do it this year and then I tick off the tax assessor? Then they're going to come after me next
Right.
year.
Okay.
Which was a good thing to
it's
bring up earlier.
Yeah.
You bringing up a couple good points, so I want to jump in
I
here because I
know.
want to address some of these.
Go ahead.
So first of all, they like I said earlier, there cannot be a reprisal by the assessor's office. They cannot raise your taxes or next year go, hey, we're raising you now.
Not individually, but
No.
they can raise a community. No.
They can raise a community, but they have to actually go out and do data collection and do a full assessment of that area.
Okay.
They can't just say, oh, we're raising everybody up in
Right.
this
They're
area.
not going to go to Main Street and just
Exactly.
say, oh,
All right.
these 8
So
buildings.
There's a lot involved in that.
All right, so now you got the card. Mike Giannetto, he got the card. The tax assessor wanted to come into the house.
Yes.
Okay,
I
that's
got that
another good
recently.
point. The assessors can ask to maybe go into your house and do whatever for data collection and stuff like that.
Do you
But
have to let them in?
you do not. You do not.
interesting.
I
And
knew
even
the
if you
answer to that,
grieve,
but I just,
they
people need to know.
They cannot require that as a condition of you grieving your taxes, meaning you're challenging your assessment.
Mm-hmm.
They cannot, as a condition, require that they have to come into the house. There was actually a court decision. When was it? In
interesting.
June of 2010. The New York Supreme Court Appellate Division said that was an illegal practice.
Illegal maneuver. I like that.
That's kind of like,
I like
due
that.
process,
Yeah.
in law enforcement. If you have due process, you can search a vehicle and do all those things, right?
Okay.
I
don't know.
think that's what it is.
Sure.
Okay. See, he needs to worry about that. 'cause
I think I remember that.
This is Mr. I drive around with the wine in the back seat of my car. So yes, you gotta be careful.
It's not open.
So, I'm sorry, Kevin, go ahead, finish what you were saying. We were talking about people, so they cannot come into the house. They cannot request it as part of the grievance.
They
as
can
a
request
condition.
it. You don't have to comply
Oh, okay.
with it.
Okay.
It cannot be mandatory that they come and inspect the house as a condition of your grievance.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Because what was happening before is they were throwing out cases if they wouldn't let them in. They can't do that.
Oh.
And like I said, if we cannot come to an agreement with the local municipality, meaning the assessor's office, there's always the second option, which is going to the small claims court.
Which again does not cost anybody anything other than the $30 filing fee,
That's correct.
right? So people don't need an attorney that you
And
would
they do
represent
not
them.
have to represent themselves. We will represent them for them. They don't show up. We do everything for them.
Oh, that's good to know.
Wow, that's good to know. Yeah, we have some properties that we put on the market that we recommend to our sellers. Look, these taxes are really high. So what happens is since the market fell, a house that could have been worth $350 is now only worth $270, $260. And we
Yep.
tell our seller, in order to make the your listing more appealing to buyers, you have to address these taxes because you're being taxed as if the house was worth, this much. So again, Kevin, one more time, how can people reach you?
That's www.nypropertytaxreview.com. Kevin at nypropertytaxreview.com or 845-238-3258.
All right.
Excellent.
Thank you so
joining
much for
us today,
joining us.
Kevin.
That was some good information. So you really don't need to be afraid of the tax assessor.
Nope, not at all.
You can handle it. And I'm
Absolutely.
Janine Panarelli, licensed real estate broker and owner of Panarelli Realty.
I'm Michael Giannetto, Residential Home Funding. Thank you for joining us today.
We'll talk to you guys next week. Have a good week.